back, my lovelies. I'm here with Alice Cooper. Let's talk, Alice, about rock and roll.
Yes.
Let's talk about rock and roll. How after rock and roll was born when? 1955-ish?
In the 50s, yeah.
Did you say? What was the first rock and roll record?
The first, I think, Rock Around the Clock was actually considered the first rock
Bill
and
Haley
roll
and the
record.
Comets,
Bill
Rock
Haley and
Around the
Comets.
Clock.
Yeah, and it was from the Blackboard Jungle, I think it was.
That's
from
right.
the movie.
Yeah.
And then it went on from there, but I mean, you know, it's all based in blues. It all goes back to blues. I think if you listen to the early Rolling Stones, their first records were all blues records.
Yeah. People were amazed the Rolling Stones were white when they first saw them. That's true. That's true. Because when you hear the early stuff, you think these guys are from down in the south, and
we were 15-year-old kids. We thought they wrote all those songs.
Yeah.
Those were actually, you know, Blind Lemon Pledge songs or whatever. Who the blues guys were, you know.
Yeah, you lost me with Blind Lemon Pledge.
Well, you know, they have those great blues names.
Right.
You know.
So how come from the 50s on, like people have just loved rock and roll? You're still, you know, doing stuff that you were doing to avoid working in Safeway.
Yes.
And
but
why do people love rock and roll? Is what I want to ask.
Guitar rock will never die.
Why is that?
It's the only.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the only rock music that's survived. If you look at all the bands, if you go all the way back to the 60s, and the bands that are still working today, they're all guitar rock bands. They're all garage bands. The Rolling Stones are the best garage band of all time.
Yeah.
And then look at even Ozzy Osbourne, garage band. You know, guitars. Yeah. Aerosmith, AC/DC, Alice Cooper. We're all two guitars based on the lead singer.
You know, you remember the story about when the Beatles were trying to get a record deal, and they went to Decca, the record company in Britain, and the A&R guy said, guitar bands are finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of guitar
bands. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, guitar bands are finished. He didn't sign the Beatles.
Now, what was
he works at CBS now, that
your
guy.
band? You had to be in a band.
I was in a band called the Bastards from Hell.
Were you really? That's a great name.
It's a great name. We were a terrible band, but it was a great name.
I would go to see the Bastards from Hell.
Well, you know, at the time, if I could have gotten anywhere near you with the Bastards from Hell, we emulated you in everything but, you know, money and talent. But we really wanted to shock people, but the only people that were shocked were, you know, the lady in the church who used to let us into the rehearsal room.
No, you're Glasgow.
Glasgow, yeah.
Now, Glasgow is, if you've ever been to Glasgow, Detroit, I'm from Detroit. Now, Detroit is the rock and roll capital of the world, right? Glasgow is the sister city. When you go to Glasgow,
very similar town, yeah.
It is, black leather jackets, long black hair, they like to drink and fight. That's Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
They're sitting in the audience and they're going, I love Alice. Boom! And I went, I'm home. This is Detroit. I love this. But it really is. It's very similar.
It's very similar. I always think that Detroit, Cleveland, and Glasgow are three cities that could have been carved out of the same place. I don't know what it is. Is it a working class thing?
It really is.
Is that what it is?
It really is. Kids from Detroit used to come from, or people from Detroit come to the show right from work. Black leather jackets. They work in factories and everything, and that's what they wore. Levi's black leather jackets. In Hollywood, you know, they go home and change into the black leather jackets and put the Levi's on. They put the safety pins in their cheeks and everything and go, on the street down there.
You see that with the young folks now as well, though. The kids who grow up in Beverly Hills are going, "What up, G-Funk?" You know. Don't G-Funk me.
And, you know, if I see a kid with a hat on sideways, I just smack it around.
Yeah. We got to take a break, and then Alice Cooper will be back to perform right on this show. Alice Cooper, everybody.